Hello, everyone, and welcome to week 3 Troubleshooting Communication, How to Interact with Japanese English Language Learners, or ELLs. So, today, during this module, you will be able to learn basic techniques for communicating and interacting with Japanese ELLs at all age levels, and you will also be able to practice some basic phrases of introduction and understanding in Japanese. The first thing that I want to discuss with you guys is your communication toolbox. So we all know what a toolbox is used for. It carries the necessary equipment you need in order to complete a job. This will be your communication toolbox while you are trying to communicate with Japanese English language learners. So the first one is writing. I recommend you bring a small pocket-sized notepad and a pencil wherever you go. Carry it with you on planes, trains, on the streets, at churches. It will help you to write things down if you guys aren't connecting on a verbal level. Having them read a simple phrase or word will help them understand what you're trying to say. In addition to that, you can use Google Translate. I don't necessarily recommend this all the time. I wouldn't use it as a crutch because it's not really a reliable form of translation, but you will see Japanese language learners or English language learners on their phones or on a pocket translator looking up words, trying to figure out how to say what they're trying to say. So it is something that you can use, and we've been effective with it as well. Draw a picture. This goes back to your notepad again. So for the most part, pictures are universally understood. If you need to go to the bathroom, but you don't remember the word for it, you can write a picture of, the bathroom sign or a toilet, and they'll understand what you're saying. So I really find that writing and drawing pictures are really the most helpful things that you can do in order to try and keep a conversation going. Another thing that you can do, or another thing that you should do really, is use simple sentences. I really want you guys to read this paragraph here. It kind of goes through how an English language learner thinks and processes information in their native language and also in English. So that's really important. Please read that. The bottom line is keep your sentences short and simple. You can use yes or no questions and allow for a pause and think time. This goes back to understanding English language learners and how they process information. They need time to think about what they want to say. They are thinking about it in Japanese and trying to translate it into English. And so you need to give them time and space and silence to work that out in their head. It might feel a little bit awkward at first, but they really appreciate that time that you're giving them to think, because it helps maintain a conversational flow instead of you talking and them just kind of smiling and nodding, which is something they'll do if you've gone too fast or are saying something too complicated and you haven't given them enough time to respond. Also include helpful actions with your sentences. This doesn't necessarily mean talk with your hands, but it does mean using your body to make helpful gestures when necessary. If you keep asking a second grader if they like to run and they're just staring at you with a blank face because they don't understand, it might be helpful to make a running motion and ask them, do you like to run? So making those things, using those kinds of actions that are helpful with your sentences will encourage them to respond to you as well. Repetition. So repeat yourself and ask people for the same favor, especially if it's really important information that you're trying to get out of them. So when you repeat yourself, please be aware of your response. We'll go into more detail about this in week 4, but this is really about how to control your responses to English language learners. But for now, these are kind of a few things that you really do not want to do and some things that you do want to do. So the first thing is don't get louder. Louder does not mean that you're speaking clearer, and it does not mean that you are speaking slower. If anything, it could possibly scare the person that you're trying to talk to. So just really try to stay focused and conscious of the volume of your voice. Do not talk to somebody like they're an infant. This means control your pitch. So sometimes when we're talking to people, especially young children, we tend to get up really high and talk really softly and really sweetly because that's what we think they need in order to understand. But if they're older, or even if they're really younger, it could mean that you're undermining them, that you're kind of demeaning them. So really try to control your pitch and talk as naturally as possible. This also helps them understand where to put emphasis on words. If you're putting unnecessary emphasis on words when you speak, then they might start speaking back to you that way. And we don't want that for them. We want them to have a natural American English accent when they're speaking. We don't want them to go and start talking to everybody like this, like, hello, I'm so excited to see you all the time, and oh, did your uncle just pass away? Oh my gosh, that's terrible. No, that's not appropriate, right? So try to keep things natural when you're speaking. Pause. I kind of went through this when we were talking about simple sentences and repetition, but put pauses in between your words, especially if they're complex or abstract. It might sound disconnected to you, but keeping your sentences at a slower pace will help them process what you're saying. This is really great for Bible studies if you're getting into religious content and ideas, again, that are more complex and abstract. So keep that in mind. Pause between every word if you need to. Really slow down your rate of speech, which is up here. Slow down your rate of speech. Do it tactfully, and you are forcing yourself, again, to produce clearer sounds and words. We also want to enunciate and speak clearly. Try not to slur your words together. We tend to try to get as many words and sounds out as we can as American speakers, and that kind of makes us, it doesn't make us sound out our words as clearly as they could be. And then I really recommend eliminating contractions such as it'll, coulda, can't, I'm, if you can think of others, just because they're not clear, and they're a combination of two words, right? It will, could have, and it's really important for an English language learner to hear those individual sounds instead of kind of cramming them all together, especially in the beginning. Maybe if they're a more advanced speaker, you can start to talk about how Americans do talk at a faster pace and kind of, scrunch their words together and use contractions, but I think especially for younger children, I would stay away from it. If all else fails, get help from a translator. Get help from a person who knows how to speak both languages. Someone who is fluent in Japanese and has really great English language skills. Don't give up. Go get a translator. You could also buy a phrase book or expression book and practice speaking some simple Japanese phrases. This will really help the Japanese language learner or English language learners open up, and it will make you more available to have genuine connections with them, because I think anybody feels this way as a, when you hear somebody speaking the language that you understand, it helps you feel more comfortable. And effort. I already said this once, but I'll say it again. Don't give up. And learn some phrases. It will help you seem approachable and friendly, and it'll give them the confidence they need in order to try speaking English, knowing that you're putting the effort into learning their language as well. So with that last note, our second topic that we're going to go through today is trying it out. Here are some simple Japanese phrases that are written in Romaji. So this is a syllable, it's English sounding syllables. So remember, each syllable in Japan is a pure sound. So I'll have the Japanese first right here, and then after that I will have what it says in English. The first bullet points are introductions. So the first one is Hajimemashite, Felicia desu. Dozo yoroshiku. This means pleased to meet you. My name is Felicia. It's really polite, and it should be said to people who are older than you, who are wiser than you. It brings them honor and respect. I use it for everyone except children because it's just safer. That way I don't disrespect anybody. So I'm going to say it a little bit faster. It's Hajimemashite, Felicia desu, dozo yoroshiku. The second one is for males only. So you can use this when you're talking to children or a peer, perhaps. It's boku wa, your name, desu, yoroshiku. So, hi, my name is, and nice to meet you. Women should not use this. Women just skip over it. You'll probably get a couple of chuckles if you do say this. But women can say this last one right here. Watashi wa Felicia desu. Yoroshiku. Hi, my name is Felicia. Nice to meet you. The next three phrases are about understanding. So letting somebody know that you do understand what they're saying or that you don't understand. And then asking them if they can repeat themselves. So the first one, and anybody can say these aren't male or female phrases. These are just standard phrases. So this is wakarimasu. And faster it would be wakarimasu. And that means that I understand. The second one is wakarimasen, or wakarimasen. And that means I do not understand. And you can always go like this and say, no, wakarimasen, I don't understand. And then this is moichido, moichido. And that means one more time, please. So you asking them to repeat themselves. Moichiro. That is all I have for this lesson. Please go back and read about the communication toolboxes and the tools that are in there. I really recommend before you leave buying a small pocket-sized notepad and slipping a pencil in there so that way you can have that available to you when you need it. And I will see you guys next week.